Hello everybody out there in board game world. This is Lance, Undead Viking, coming to you with another video review. The game I am reviewing today is a game that is in Kickstarter, or very shortly is going to be in Kickstarter. The game name is Upon a Fable. Normally at this point I'd have a box and I'd show you and I go, ooh, look. But I don't, because it's a Kickstarter game. So I guess I can show you the front page of my printed off rules, I guess. But, so I'm sorry I don't have that for you. But, quickly, Upon a Fable is a Euro-style game that I guess could qualify kind of like as a gateway game. It is a worker placement type game with some card drafting and card play, obviously, to go with that card drafting. And it is a situation with, resource collection that enables you to play different cards and act different abilities, and the idea behind it is that you are a member of the Fae or a fairy kingdom or what have you, just a fantasy realm, if you will, unnamed for just nothing in specific, but you are a prince or a princess or a lord or an abbess or whatever of this fantasy realm, and you are competing against the other players to try to make the best story realm for your fable, and whoever ends up with the most points at the end of the game is declared the emperor or the empress of the story land. So, and I understand that theme might turn a bit of you off. It sounds like, well, geez, get out the pink tutu and the little wand there and start dancing around. But no, I mean, it actually is a very fun game. It's very challenging, and I've had a lot of fun playing it with my wife and my friends. And even though some of my friends might have said, can we like re-theme this to space zombies or something? I mean, it's still, they were able to have a good time and even to kind of immerse themselves a little bit in what there was going on. But as with all these reviews, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a rules overview, if you will. I'm not going to show you every step of the way, if you will, but I will show you exactly how the game is played and show you the intricacies as far as that is concerned. And after I get done with that, I will give you my final thoughts, and hopefully, somewhere along the line, you may be able to draw a conclusion as to whether or not this is a game you want to back on Kickstarter, and then eventually, when it gets published, you'll get a copy sent to your door. So, without any more preamble, let's just go ahead and dive into the gameplay of Upon a Fable, and then I'll meet you back here, where my butt is, and we will talk about what I think about the game. All right, let's do this. Okay, here is a setup for one player. This is a player board down here that I'm not going to set. This for 4 players. Technically, I wasn't going to show you. I didn't want to show all 4 player boards, however. Here is a player board. Each person will have one of these, and here is the main board for the game as well. I should mention, of course, since this is a Kickstarter game, this is a prototype. So the end version of the game might look very similar to what you see here, but obviously better quality, and there will be some changes. I was not supplied tokens for each of the different types of resources, or wonders as they're called here. So like for these castles, which will actually look like castles in the game, I just have a gray cube. I was lucky enough to actually find little brown meeples for some reason. I keep kind of a treasure chest full of different bits that I've collected, and so there's brown meeples for followers. Instead of this shield, I just have purple cubes. Instead of the hearts, I didn't have any hearts, I have these red, and I just have a bunch of little white meeples instead of the white stars for the magic. So, I mean, I encourage you to go check out the Kickstarter page and or just the page on Board Game Geek for Upon a Fable, and you can kind of see what they're going for, what their plan is as far as what the different components are going to look like. I think the game is going to look pretty awesome. To start off the game, each person, like I said, gets one of these player boards. They'll be dealt 4 cards. I'll just take 4 cards at the top here. That'll be the 4 cards to that person. They get their collection of tokens that will represent their workers. However, they only get to place one of these action pawns or workers or what have you on a realm that they have. To start off with, you have a home realm. In a 4-player game through 6-player, this game does satisfy up to 6 players. You have 1 person in this home realm. If we're playing a 1 through 3-player game, the game can be played solo. You'd place 2 there, but we are not doing that, so we only have the 1. So part of the game is obviously adding more realms to your board so you can have more actions when it comes time to use those. You can see this board up here is where you'll be placing these action pawns. Some of these parts are very obvious what they do. Play a card or draw a card. You'll be playing a card from your hand or drawing a card there. Adding a small realm. Realms come in 3 sizes, small, large, and epic. As you get to small realms, just basically allow you to use another worker. Large and epic realms will actually give you powers that you're able to use, but I'm more on that in a little bit. So right now you couldn't add a small realm, but there are other cards over here that I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, that when you are able to use the spot, if this card is turned over, you're able to upgrade a realm to go to a higher level, if you will, of different realms. On these spots with the different resources, if you ever played a game of like some resource allocation games, they'll just have, you populate these particular locations with the resources in question. And so if you take a worker and you place that on that location, you will collect the resource that is located there. As I said, over here, you have these different tales, the first book of tales, second book of tales, and the third book of tales. To begin the game, you will unveil a new tale, and you'll turn this over, and basically it provides the game with another spot that people can use to place one of their action pawns. And so what they'll do, and then we'll just do this right now, because that's the first part of the game. There's 9 different action portions of each turn of the game, and you'll go through it until you finally get to this last card here, the third book of the third book of tales, and after that the game is over. But we'll turn this over and we'll see it is just a spot with this big brown meeple on there. And so when we turn that over, technically that's the first thing you do, and the second thing you do is you populate the board with the different icons. So I've already done that over here, so we'll just add this brown meeple onto there, so that's a follower token. Now I should mention that along with the 4 cards, each player does start with 2 magic that they have, so they do have 2 resources to start with. Another portion of the game, before I actually start going on to the different actions and availability, you have these cards, which are both called Blessing and Curses. Blessings and Curses, there's 9 of these, and you will shuffle these up, and you'll take 6, and you'll cover up these 6 cards here. All of the second book of tales and all of the third book of tales, you'll cover up. And before you turn those cards over, you have to resolve these cards. And these cards are detriments and, well, curses and blessings, if you will. And more often than not, what they do is they are a catch-up mechanic or a slow-down mechanic, if you will. They will harm the people that are in the lead, and they will help the people that are behind. There are 3 blessings in this deck, and there are 6 curses. And there are some curses that actually affect everybody equally. Like this one obviously is a curse that it affects, and hopefully you can read that. But if you can't, I'll read it to you in just a second. But you can see the art's pretty cool, and you can go there. But this is a curse that says whichever player has the most honor, which is there, loses 1 magic and 1 love. So somebody's doing really well, they have a lot of those, and all of a sudden they come to a screeching halt because they lose 2 tokens just because they're doing well. And that is a bit well, you can't plan for it, but it is a nice way to make sure there isn't somebody running away with the game, if you will. A blessing, let me just find a blessing for you so you can see one of those. This one says, whichever player has the fewest love gains 1 magic and 1 honor. So we'll just show you that one real quick here, and I'm going to hope, once again, pretty cool artwork. And there you go. So, and it should be noted that if people tie for either the curse or the blessing, everyone who ties gets that. So if there's 2 players that had the fewest love tokens, like say there were 2 players that had none, they both get that benefit for that card. There is a curse, if I can find it here real quickly. Like this one, it just says, every player loses 1 magic, or 2 magic or 1 follower. So it's just everybody. So I mean, something like that. It's a lightning bolt and a smackdown to everybody that's playing the game. But like I said, more often than not, it is some sort of a detriment to the people that are in the lead, or it helps somebody who is losing. But we'll go ahead and we'll shuffle that up, and we'll place one of these cards on each of those locations. And then the remaining cards are just, there's 3 left. You just throw them away, you don't look at them, so you have no idea what those particular cards are going to be. Now, after that is, we've set up the game and we've gone ahead and we've withdrew into the waters. Now what we'll do is we will perform realm abilities. Now, when you add realms to the board, small realms are just all they are, and I'll just grab one here. Like if you had this small realm here, it just gives you another worker that you're allowed to use during the game. However, when you get into larger realms, there's both large realms and epic realms. And here's a large realm. It just says, gain 1 magic for every story. And it should notice how there's 3 stars up there. That's how much it costs to place this particular realm. If you wanted to play it, you have to pay that cost in resource tokens. 3, in my case, they'd be white meeples, but 3 white stars, 3 magic. So what that means is that each one of these, when you turn over, it's a story. It's part of the story of the fable that you're telling. And so if you have several of these cards, or even one, or whatever, that are in these locations, when it is your turn, starting with the first player and going around, you get to activate these cards and gain the benefit that they give you. And so, when obviously, you know, this one gets you 1 magic each time. So, wise players would say, well, if I get this out there soon, you know, as this game progresses, since it's giving me 1 magic each time it comes around, even though I'm spending 3 magic to get it, in the long run, if I get it out there quickly, you know, it's going to pay off, and I'm going to actually gain more resources out of it earlier. And like, so that's one of the large realms. Let me find you an epic realm here, and here's an epic realm, and you notice there are 4 of the stars up there, the 4 magic tokens to get that one. And I do apologize here, I don't think this one's getting in focus for me real well. But it says gain 1 magic, love, and honor. So you're getting 3 different resources for that one. And so you can see the epic realms are actually obviously more powerful, if you will. But realms do come at a price, but we'll explain that in just a moment here. A price beyond what it takes just to place them on the board. So each person will then go ahead and play their different realms and realm abilities if they have any. And then after you're done with that, you move on to the 4th part of the turn, which is deal the Hand of Fate. Now what happens with dealing the Hand of Fate, each player will get 3 cards. So we'll just take 3 cards because this is that first player. And you take the 3 cards and you look at them and you decide which one of these 3 cards you want, and then you hand 1 card to the person on your left. This is where like kind of card drafting gets in, if you're familiar with that mechanic. And so what it is like you might get some really, really awesome cards that you want to use, but you have to weigh with what the person next to you is going to get and how much is that going to help them. And so you have to try to decide what's the best card to take for you, but also maybe there's a card that might not be so good, or maybe you just want to say what card would help them the most, I better keep that card. So in this case, we got a large realm and an epic realm and a dream. And I'll just show you a dream card here. Like this is a card that you get to play it during one action later after. I'll show you that. But this one you can convert a castle into 3 magic. So for whatever reason, let's just say I wanted to keep that one. We go ahead and place that in my hand of cards. And I'm going to hand this epic and this large realm, because it's the first round of the game. Chances are, you know, he's not going to be able to build those really well anytime soon. So we'll hand those off to the next person. And then, you know, another person gives me, like, they decided that's the card that they didn't want. Oh, actually, no, let's see. Let's say they gave me these 2. It's another dream card and an epic realm card. So, let's just keep the dream card and just, you know. And then any cards that aren't picked are just discarded. And if this deck ever runs out of cards, of course, you would, you know, shuffle up the discards and start the deck over. Now you're finally able to start exploring the stories. And when you explore the stories, what you're doing is you're actually placing these particular tokens that you have access to and putting them on the board. Now, I kind of cheated a little bit and I made sure I just gave myself a card that I'd be able to show you some different actions. But one of the cards that I gave myself was this small realm. And you'll notice over here, instead of like actually like 2 specific resources, there's 2 question marks there, meaning any 2 resources and I can play the small realm. So, as a player, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say add a small realm, and I'm going to place that down there, and I'm going to spend my 2 magic that I got, and I'm going to place that there. And now the nice thing is that as soon as you place that, you get to place your worker on there, meaning that you don't have to wait until another turn. So I'm going to get another turn as the play revolves around. So let's say the next player goes, and they decide they wanted that particular worker. Blue went, and that 2 magic is just too much to pass up. And green goes, and green decides that they want that love. And then I've got this, and I'm going to say, well, what should I do? And I'm going to say, well, let's go ahead. And so I'm going to be able to take that, and I'm going to go ahead and take that shield, and I'm going to have the purple honor that hopefully I have a card that, or I'm able to use that to spend and to enable me to do something, later on in the game. So now everybody's gone. Everybody's put all their pieces down, and we will go ahead, and you have to either play and discard the cards that you have in your hand. You have a maximum of 4 cards that you can have in your hand, so you have to either play a card or you have to discard one. Now, dream cards are one-time effects, and I've got a bunch of them in my hand right now. So, and like this one is a one-time effect. It says gain 3 magic, everybody else gains 1. Well, I don't, so I'm the first player, so I'm going to play that one, and I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to gain 3 magic. I'm going to place those there, and everybody else, takes 1, and they put it on their board, and everybody says, hey, thanks a lot for the magic. And I say, hey, don't worry about it, guys, let's go around. So everybody else, they're going to play their cards, or they're going to do it. And now I can go ahead and I can look at my cards, and I have a couple more dream cards, and some dream cards, like this one, have costs as well, and you can notice that there's actually like the cost that's up there. But I'm not going to play that. Now there's one other card that I haven't shown you yet, and this is called an Ever After card. And just like its name implies, notice there's a lot of resources it takes to bring this into play. Ever After cards provide an effect that lasts the rest of the game, as long as you don't lose the card. There are some other cards that allow the players to steal these from you. And so if you're able to play them, you get to put them next to your player board, like so, and they affect you. And like this particular card says, when adding a new small realm, you can ignore all wonder requirements. So that's pretty powerful, obviously. So if I can ever get that in play, I need a magic, a follower, and a castle to do it, I'd be able to play any small realm I want down here, and it costs me nothing. I don't have to. So you can see where that would be actually really powerful. But unfortunately, I'm unable to play anything else. But I've set myself up pretty well. I've got the 2 realms going. I'm ready to go, and I've got enough. I've only got 4 cards, so I'm ready to move on. Other people have discarded or played their cards, and we move on and we go to Empowering Realms. Now, this only happens on the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9th phase. And just for the sake of an argument, let's say this is the end of the 3rd phase. These 2 cards have been revealed. I'm just going to turn them over so you can just kind of see them. So you can see this one. That's pretty cool. You get a honor, a love, and a magic for that one. And this one says add a realm or upgrade a realm. Remember I said you can upgrade realms? That's one of those spots here. You can either... So what... And I should mention, you can upgrade your home realm too. So later on, if you wanted to like overlap this card with another card, you're able to do that. But Empowering Realms means that you have to pay a magic cost to keep it running. Remember when I said that having a lot of realms is useful as far as like getting workers and stuff like that, but you do have to pay for them. So, and more than just the outgoing cost when you place them down. You have to pay 1 magic for every small realm, and a home realm is considered to be a small realm. So each of these would be 1. Large realms cost 2, and epic realms cost 3. So in this case, I'd have enough. I could just spend 2 magic and I'd be done. However, let's say I had those 3, but I had this large realm here as well. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, obviously I can't pay for everything. I can't keep everything going. So what happens is I have to pay for the cheapest ones first. I can't just say, well, I'm going to make sure I pay for this one because it's really good. You can't do that. So I pay for the smallest one, I pay for the next smallest one, And now I have only one left. Now you can partially pay, and that's actually a good thing. So I've paid one of the 2 that it costs to activate that. Unfortunately, the situation I have is I'm going to have to place this blue meeple on there. Now, it'll be like a moon, I believe. This has basically gone to sleep. It's gone into a deep slumber, and it can't be used. And when I return my workers to the board, like so, the worker that goes here is considered to be asleep as well, and I'm unable to either activate this realm for any of the powers that are available to it during the activated realm phase, and I cannot use the worker that is using that realm as its home space. So you have to make sure that when you're expanding, you are keeping. It's good to have more realms so you have more actions, but you got to make sure you have enough magic to support it. So you empower realms, and if so, in this case, let's just I've empowered the realms, and I haven't returned these yet. So let's go ahead and so we now go into intensifying magic. Now this isn't situational because obviously I've jumped ahead and I've moved ahead to having these realms show up or whatever, but and gone to head to turn 3 or round 3 of this game. But now every spot that doesn't have a let's see here. Every spot that didn't have a token on it. Now there's absolutely no reason why somebody wouldn't have taken that, but let's just say, for example, didn't. Every spot that hadn't been used, there's no token on, gets another magic on the location. So it's basically, it takes the spots that might not have been attractive to be used, but it makes them better. So like, and you've probably played games like that have that escalating reward function that goes on, and I do like that because it basically it makes people take moves that at one point would have been suboptimal, but at this point are actually really helpful because of the amount of magic that's located on there. And it's really nice when you get to the point, like in the 3rd or 6th or 9th, when you're going to have to pay for those realms to empower them. It's really nice when you have something that nobody's used for a long time and has a big stack of magic on there that you can take, and then you don't have to worry about it. So you intensify the magic on the board, and then finally now you return all of the workers to their location. So in this case, if they had, and this guy would be asleep because I wasn't able to pay for that one. Now, also during this phase, you're allowed to awaken the realm. So if there's any place that has a sleeping guy on there, or a moon or whatever it is, that you're able to remove one of those. However, you can't remove one that just got placed. You can't just say, well, oh well, I won't pay for that one, and now it's awake again. You can't. So that one I wouldn't be able to. But if there had been one on this location from the turn before, I could at that point now, I could take that off, and this realm is now awake, and that particular worker or this action pawn will be able to be used by me. And so then we just go on to the next round. And so we, it's like we unveil the new realm, and this is the case, this is the blessing or curse card. So we look at this, and it's a blessing. So whichever player has the fewest magic gains 1 love and 1 honor. Well, let's just say that's me. I'm like, yay, I get a love and an honor. So I can go ahead and place those on my board like that. And then we reveal the next spot, which is, oh, this is the super conversion. You can convert 1 wonder, and when they say wonder is one of these. It's just one icon, and you can convert it to one of the following. So you can take any one, and it's like a super conversion. So you can convert it to follower, castle, 2 love, 2 honor, or 3 magic, and then obviously it's better than that one. And so that particular spot's available, and we go through those phases again, and we keep going until we get to the 9th, and we finish off the game, and then we just find out who won by looking at this particular card here, and everybody has one of these, and it's a scoring card. And you can see that different resources or wonders are worth different amount of points. And you can notice that it isn't like for every one of these it's worth 3 points. It's a sliding scale between 0 and 4. And so you check and see how well you did on certain levels. So like you can see magic, if you have 5 or more points of magic, tokens of magic, that's worth 4 points. But in the case of love, if you want to get 4 points, you have to have 7 or more of love to be it. And, you know, it's all the way down to castles, you only need 4. You only need 4 or more castles to get 4 points. And if you've played like games like Agricola, you've seen scoring situations like this. And I really kind of dig this because, you know, you're always kind of just seeing where on this table you situate. And the one big thing is, like small realms are, you know, on the bottom there, you can see the sliding scale. But also you notice on the bottom, you get a bonus for each large or epic realm that you're able to bring into the game. So, as with any victory point game, you total up the number of points that you have. Whoever's got the most wins the game. And there you go. That's how you play Upon a Fable. Well, you know, it's not a incredibly complicated game, but it does have a lot of trickiness to it, and a lot of you need to have a clever mind, if you will, to like kind of have, you know, to have that synergy to make sure that you have the right resources at the right time to be able to play the cards you want to optimize your turns. But let me tell you exactly what I think about this game. I don't have a box to flip around. I feel kind of I can't really flip around my rules. Okay, well, anyway. So, there you go. There's Upon a Fable. You know, if you are a fan of worker placement games, you can probably draw some comparisons as far as how the game works, and you know, you can see how it's like certain games and how it has different aspects that you've seen in other games. And you know, and it does remind me of a few other Euros. The scoring definitely reminds me of Agricola, where the different levels of the different resources that you collect here, and the realms and so on and so forth, the different tiers of how many points those are worth. It isn't like a straight 1-for-1. So, you know, you find yourself as you play the game, you know, staring at this and like, okay, well, I have that, so that'll be worth that many points, you know, and so on. And so it's one of those games that it rewards you of not just focusing on one specific area, because, you know, after you get to a certain point, you're just getting 4 points. You have to kind of spread the wealth. And that kind of ties into one of the things I really like about this game. And I know I wrote a review of Agricola a while back, and I know a lot of people said that I kind of poo-pooed the game a little bit. But maybe because this game is a little bit more on the simpler side, and it's more family-friendly, I found myself enjoying this one more than say, a game like that. Because of the fact that, you know, this is a game that I am blessed with a beautiful wife who puts up with my hobby and puts up with me, and she's a wonderful mother for my children. But you know, if there was one thing I wish she liked more, I wish she liked board games more. But she just, you know, it's one of those things where she likes games that are quick and easy and to the point. And she doesn't like a lot of involvement as far as... And this is a game that totally keys into the strengths of the casual gamer. But it has enough meat on the bone for for the more robust gamer, if you will, to enjoy themselves as they play the game. And I mean, I don't know. I mentioned gateway game at the very beginning of this whole review, and I always kind of hated that definition as far as like, oh, this is a perfect gateway to like bigger things, if you will. And you know, I mean, my first game was like Arkham Horror, so I mean, yeah, and that would not normally be a game people would consider a gateway. But I mean, I had a predisposed disposition towards playing big, thick, meaty, thematic games like that, and so that game really worked well for me. But so it depends on the person, and so I mean, I know a lot of people say, well, Ticket to Ride and all this other stuff is just like the perfect game to play or whatever for those people. But this one has a very, very nice theme. It isn't anything that's going to impose you with the theme or bore somebody with the theme. Oh, this is a game about shipping, you know what I mean? And I know people always say, well, it doesn't matter, whatever. But I mean, whether you like it or not, a theme does draw people in. and it does interest them. So if you tell somebody, oh, this is a story about, you're telling a fable, or you're telling a once upon a time type of story, I mean, that's going to interest them. They're going, oh, okay, I read books to my children and stuff like that. And it also is one of those things where it's very easy to grasp. I mean, there isn't a lot of, like, you need to plan this 3 steps ahead of yourself to be able to do what you want. There's some trickiness to it. I mean, you have to be able to pay for each of your realms, you know, or else they go to sleep, which is a kind of a neat thing, you know, honestly. I mean, obviously it's just a way to make people be cognizant of not expanding too quickly, and making sure that they have those leftover magic to fuel their engine, if you will. And see, I'm saying these big words like, you know, that you're probably familiar with as a game player, like, you know, engine and things like that. But I mean, for somebody who's just, you know, kind of dipping their toes in the water, if you will, I mean, it's like, that's just neat. It's like, if you don't, you know, have enough magic to power your once upon a time story, or what, you know, it'll go to sleep, you know. And so, like, instead of like being able to tell the story, you've fallen asleep halfway through your what you want to tell and things like that. And then eventually you'll have enough magic and you'll awaken, and you'll be able to. And I know a few of you are probably shaking your head right now, like, geez, what? You know what I mean? It's kind of it's a really neat thematic way to describe what's going on. And I mean, and I mentioned through the thing, the tokens and everything that you see in front of you are not indicative of what you're going to have. I mean, you have to go and check out what they're going to look like when the game gets published. I mean, they're going to look amazing. The artwork is already really, really cool. I mean, and I mean, but the different symbols and the icons and the different wooden bits you're going to have are really going to make this game pop, and people are going to be, it's going to be one of those games you're going to walk by and you're going to see it, you're going to say, whoa, what's that? And you're going to want to check it out. You know, it's the game. I hope I impressed upon you during the discussion and the show of how the game is played. The game is fun. You know, it's like you have to weigh between placing more realms down on the board, but also you have to weigh that against being able to support them. You have all these different little multiple paths of victory, and once again, that's kind of a gamer term, but it's true. I mean, there's lots of different ways, and you know, some resources, you know, like magic, are really easy to get. But you know, some things like the followers or you know, the castles, which, you know, for me were just great cubes. I don't know why I'm holding these up. Yeah, the castles. See, look, it's a castle. But the castles, I mean, it's tougher to get, and that's actually represented by the different, you know, point values that you have here. I mean, the tougher ones, you know, so you only need a few of them to get, you know, a really good chunk of points when you get those. So you know, it's nice that you can have that. It's not so much a strategy of like, oh, in 2 turns I'm really gonna be able to cash in and get a lot of these. It's one of those things where it's like it's kind of like the opportunity presents itself to you. And I mean, there's a little planning, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's one of those things where you just kind of cash in while the going's good. You get that card in your hand, that dream card that allows you to you know trade in some trade it in for some cubes, or you know, just allows you to do something that just totally fits in with where you're going to place, you know, one of your workers that turn. And so I mean, it's one of those fun little, like, I don't know, how do I explain this? It's a fun game of not so much exploration, but kind of situational glory, if you will. You know, it's like, I like games where it's like all of a sudden I have an aha moment. I'm like, oh, I can play this. I can put my worker there. I can play this card, and I get this, and then I can go there, and look at that, I got all this stuff. I like that when you have that little, like, you get that little smile on your face, like, oh, I was really clever right there. You know, and I like that about these games, and this game does that for me. You know, I mean, if you're a really, really hardcore gamer, maybe it won't be for you. But if you're somebody that likes a medium weight game that they can introduce to some casual gamer friends, I strongly suggest it. My daughter, I have helped her play it. She's 5. I mean, obviously, you know, I need to read the cards to her and stuff like that, and I help her. I mean, and she doesn't grasp it totally, but when she gets older, I know this is a game that she's going to like to play, and she really digs the theme, and she likes the idea of it, and she always asks, so I'm a princess? Yes, you're a princess, and things like that. So, you know, I'm looking forward to what they're going to do as far as expansions are concerned, and what they're going to do with more cards and more options, and also, I mean, since the game is expandable up to 6 players, you know, it is one of those really nice games to have that can satisfy a large number of people. And you can play the game solo. Not that I've played it solo, I'm just not a solo game player, but you can play the game solo, which is really cool. So, well, I hope somewhere in there you got some knowledge and you're able to make up your mind as far as whether or not this is a game you're going to want to put on your shelf. If you are interested in backing the game, I invite you to go to the Kickstarter. I'll post that link after this video or below this video. You can probably see it right now if you look. And you can go check that out and check out more about the game, more about the publishers, and see if it's something that is going to fit for you. So, until next time, this was Undead Viking. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And, yeah, just you take care of yourself and you have yourself an awesome day. All right. Bye-bye.